Hi everyone, Dr. Victoria Skirbo here. So I'm going to finish up on the astrology of August 2019, and I already talked about the new moon that occurred on the 31st of July in the Americas and the first everywhere else. So I wanted to include it on that, and I spoke about on the 11th we have Mercury going into Leo, but we also have Jupiter going direct and Uranus going retrograde on the same day. Incidentally, when Uranus changes direction, when the transpersonal planets change direction, there can also be like some sort of seismic shift. Usually there's an occurrence, something happens, especially with Pluto and Uranus. So this time it's Uranus, so just be aware of that. And of course, Uranus and Taurus is about sudden out of nowhere shifting, and Taurus is an earth sign. So just be aware of that. Okay, so we have a full moon on the 15th of August, and it is in Aquarius. It's at 22 degrees 24 minutes, or 23 degrees of Aquarius. And the Sabian symbols for the sun at 23 degrees in Leo is a circus. Bareback rider displays her dangerous skills, the audacity and perseverance required to control and play with the powerful energies of the vital realm of human existence. Virtuosity is the key word. And then in the moon in Aquarius, a big bear is sitting down and waving all its paws. The self-discipline which results from an intelligent development of individual faculties under proper training. We can learn to discipline our natural impulses, and so both of these symbols have something to do with overcoming our animal nature, right? And learning how to work with that energy, which can be very powerful, such as the horse and the bareback rider mastering the art of riding the horse, riding and power. And so on a certain level, we are becoming aware, because it's a full moon and it's always a point of awareness of our need to learn how to not necessarily overcome our lower natures, but learn how to make the lower nature become a conduit of the higher nature. So how do you master that? How do you master your impulses? How do you master your physical body so that your spiritual self can express itself in the way that it's meant to? This opposition, which of course a full moon is always in opposition, is actually almost exactly square Vesta in Taurus. Vesta is what we dedicate ourselves to, and Taurus is the earth and our values and what's important to us. It's also our relationship to the earth. I guess it's important because we have a siren, right? And that creates a T-square. So even though oppositions are generally are there for observation, and there's not always action associated with the observation. When you have a third planet making a square to both ends of that opposition, then we have movement. So it's actually quite an active full moon energy. Okay, and the sun is conjunct Venus, the sun is conjunct Juno, and the sun is conjunct Mars. And Venus and Mars are the planets of relationship. They are coming closer and closer to their biennial conjunction, which is going to happen in a couple of days. And Juno is the asteroid associated with relationship. So this really is pointing to how do you find that balance within your relationships. And Leo Aquarius is, of course, the axis of the Aquarian age. Leo is how do I express my uniqueness, and Aquarius is how do I make it better for the group. And so there's that balance, and the earth is part of that balance, because the earth, that Vesta in Taurus is coming in to remind us that yes, you can relate to one another, but you're living on a planet that you have to pay attention to. Okay, so let's let's see, on August 24th, Venus and Mars make its biennial conjunction every 2 years, about every 2 years. These two planets come together. It could be 2 years, a little more, a little less, depends on the retrograde cycles of Venus and Mars. But they come together, and Venus and Mars deals with how we relate to one another. Venus is the feminine, Mars is the masculine. Venus is the yin, Mars is the yang. And so this is a 2-year cycle where we are exploring the themes of relating. And it's important as to what degree this occurs. The last time this happened was October 5th, 2017, so that was a while back, and it occurred at 20 degrees of Virgo. And so for the last 2 years, we've been working with this Virgo energy to perfect how to relate. And this time it's also happening in Virgo, only this time it's happening at 5 degrees of Virgo. And I want to read the Sabian symbol because I think it's very significant. It says, a man becoming aware of nature spirits and normally unseen spiritual agencies, the opening to new levels of consciousness. There's a lot of symbolism this month for new levels of consciousness. And of course, remember, we're in a time of awakening. We're in a time of awakening. And the phone rings, right? This shit. You can't make this shit up. I said shit. Sorry about that, guys. And the last thing I want to talk about is on the 30th of August, we have a new moon. I got to do this quickly because I don't have a lot of time on my video. The new moon is occurring at 7 degrees of Virgo, and it is conjunct Mars and conjunct Venus. Only this time, Mars and Venus are in a new phase to each other. And so this is a new moon that is stimulating that need to continue to fix what is broken and how we relate to one another. And this time we have the overlay of being aware of other levels of consciousness and other levels of awareness, including the consciousness of the earth. And so we are all one organism. You, me, the earth, the animals, everything. And we're not separate, and we can't be here without the earth. And so when we come to that realization, that paradigm shift, we will make our decisions differently. All right, I want to leave you with that. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you again next month for this thing that I do, tomorrow for the astrology, and anytime I can fit it in for a card reading. Take care. Bye.